So today I have a book talk on The Mark of Athena by Rick Riordan. I actually finished this a few days ago and I've started reading The House of Hades, which I'm really enjoying, and I want to finish it quite quickly so that I can have a nice gap to think up theories for Blood of Olympus, which comes out on the 7th of October. I've already pre-ordered my copy. So if you haven't read the book, trust me, you do not want to be spoiled. I was spoiled, so I speak from experience. You do not want to be spoiled. So if you haven't read this book, then please leave now. But if you haven't read the book, then, join me in discussion of it. So, is it just me? No, it's not just me, because I've heard loads of other people say that. Or does Jason get knocked out every time, like, something exciting's happening? Like, how has he not yet suffered bad brain damage? I mean, I suppose he's not very bright, so maybe that's the brain damage for now. Persebeth reunion. Oh my god, it was adorable. And when they were sat eating, and Annabeth nearly cried when Percy talked about only remembering her, then back to when they were first reuniting, and then Annabeth's like judo flipping him, and Jason had a rare and wonderful funny line, and he was like, "This is Annabeth. She doesn't normally judo flip people." And Coach had not trusting them after they snuck off in the stables. And then after that, and everyone's just sort of casual, like, oh yeah, they just kissed. And then Hazel's like, scandal. Hazelio! Sorry, Frank and Hazel shippers, but Hazelio all the way. Oh, I just love how Leo comforts her and helped her with the seasickness and sort of conversed about getting car sick. I felt really close to Leo then, because I get badly car sick. Only similarity. Oh, it was just the sweetest thing. And then their flashback when she trusted him enough to tell him all about Sammy and about her past life. It was adorable. Jason and Piper. The sexual tension between those two in The Lost Hero was unbearable, as I spoke about in my book talk at the time. And now they're together, it's just like, meh. I'm not really bothered about their relationship. And I can't believe Piper told Jason that she loved him before Annabeth told Percy. Like, seriously. And it was really awkward because Jason didn't say back because I don't think he heard her. And I've actually read Percy and Annabeth's I love you scene, and it's exactly the same because they're in this like really deathly situation and Annabeth's like, I love you, and of course it's too loud for Percy to hear. Yeah, so it was kind of awkward when neither of them said I love you back. Frank got so much more funny in this book. In oh my god, what was it called? The Son of Neptune. He was sort of like, oh hey, and now in Mark of Athena he's sort of like, how loudly does my brother walk up the stairs? And now it's really like awkward funny. It's like turning into a giant goldfish and being like, sorry, I panicked. Percy, of course, was naturally hilarious. When Annabeth dropped her bronze knife in the river and he just like shoots up in the middle of this raging battle, like totally casual, like, oh hey, you think you could drop this? Shrimpzilla. Percy just says it as like an exclamation of surprise, and then it just catches on as like, and people start saying it as if it's a perfectly normal thing to call a sea monster. Reminded me a little bit of Bessie the sea cow. Percy being really offended that like the underwater centaur didn't want to meet him. He's like, are you sure he didn't want to meet me? Percy and Annabeth fall into Tartarus. I'm actually listening to the audiobook of House of Hades, and the guy says Tartarus so weirdly, he's like, Tartarus. I was spoiled for the fall. So, you want to Google Persebeth and get some nice pictures of them together in The Lost Hero. Not The Lost Hero, The Last Olympian. Don't, because you're bound to get pictures of them falling into Tartarus. There's a lot of spoilery fan art when it comes to Persebeth. I'm really annoyed that I couldn't appreciate this scene as much as everyone else, because everyone else had that like big and like, oh my god, so upsetting. But I was just like blank faced, like I wasn't like at all upset because I knew they weren't dead. But I suppose because I knew they weren't dead, I could really appreciate like the beautifulness of the scene and how gorgeously it was written. So I was in some ways able to see the happiness of the scene. Just these two characters who'd been separated so much and then being finally like, you know what? I just want to be together. I don't care about anything else. And it's just like, you know what? I give up. That's all that matters. So, speaking of Tartarus, we have an issue with the Doors of Death. Please don't spoil me if you already know who does this. So who's going to, because we've got plenty of people who can close the doors on the outside. That's not an issue. Who's going to close the doors from the inside? I'm guessing it's not Percy and Annabeth. Possibilities. Number 1, Nico D'Angelo. I hope it's not him because I love Nico. Don't worry, I already know about his sexuality. Fan art spoils everything. So it seems a bit obvious, to be honest, because you know he's already been to Tartarus and like he's the son of Hades and he feels like it's sort of his duty to do it. But it would be really heroic if he did. And in some ways when someone sacrifices themselves, it's like, it's so sad. But at the same time you're like, you know what, I'm glad my character got that ending. I'm glad they were so heroic and it was like really dramatic, and because they deserved to go out with style. So in some ways I would be like that had it be Nico. Next possibility is Leo. He feels like the seventh wheel, as Nemesis told him, and he thinks there's no point to him, and he's gonna be like, it's okay, I'll do it. And I don't think he realises that he's the most important person on that quest. Sorry, but he's more important than Percy. I love you, Percy, you're my favourite character, but Leo's technically more important than you on this quest. Frank. He will start to notice maybe what's going on between Leo and Hazel, and then he'll think that he's the seventh wheel, not Leo, and like, but my prediction, I like my prediction, it's going to be like, sorry my camera cut out because it's a little shit. My prediction, as I was saying, is one of them, Leo, Nico or Frank, will be like, you know what, I'll go close the doors of death. And then Hazel, because she's close to all three, will be like, no, please don't, I love you, you mean so much to me. Maybe not I love you if it's Leo, because that'll be a bit awkward around Frank. And while Hazel is trying to convince Leo, Nico or Frank not to go and close the doors of death, someone else, Leo, Nico or Frank, the one that isn't being convinced by Hazel. So let's pretend it's Leo that's trying to go and close the doors of death. So Leo goes and just like, Hazel's stopping and like, no, please don't, you're really important to me. And then either Nico or Frank will go while she's talking to Leo, and no one will notice, and I'll be like, no! And you can swap any of those characters around. So it'll be like a bit like the series finale of The 100, spoilers, where Kane is gonna go and close and like do it for the dropship, and then the Chancellor goes and does it before, you know, he beats him to it, and then they'll back on Earth, and then the Chancellor is like on his own on the Ark, and he just sat there and he's like, and now we wait. And I feel like it'd be like that if one of them went and closed the doors of death. It's just like, I really hope we get a scene of just them like exasperated and just sitting down and being like, it's over. It's over. And hopefully they'll have a bottle in their bag. They can just be like, yeah. So that's all for today. Read the description because I probably forgot to say loads of things, and I'll put it in there, so